Yes, the MC-707 Groove Box, and you've seen this MC-202 in some of my other videos for size comparison. It's grown a lot since the MC-202. I tried to show you all of its features. I tried to show you the internal drum machine, the VA synth, the ROMpler, the sampler, the looper, the effects. And so in this video, I'm going to show you kind of the workflow of how you'd create something like that step by step. Okay, so when it flips on, it's in the last project that you saved. So we want to start with a blank slate. So the first thing to do would be to hit Project. Use this C4 button to go over to New, and these are clickable buttons. So click on New. Yes, we'll clear the current project. By clearing, it just means clearing RAM. If you saved that project, and I do mean, go and save it, or it will be gone. Trying this out your first time, you're probably going to want to hit Shift Note. And you'll see here pad velocity. It's, various things. I like it fixed at 127. And so while you're kind of auditioning things and getting used to this, hit exit all the time to get back out to this status grid. While you're trying things out and figuring out what it does and stuff, have everything at full velocity, and that way, and the pads also have to be broken in. And so you don't want to be slamming on the pads to hear what the sound is and that type of thing. So just by touching them, I can hear all the sounds, and it's mostly a 909 kit in there, I can tell that much. When you loaded up the new project, it was actually a little template that they've created. You have to designate what the tracks are, and so they've already designated that the first one's a drum track, it says 1D. And the second one is a tone track. It says 2T. And so those are pre-designated. If you don't like that, you can create your own template. So if you're all the way to the left there on that grid and you hit up, you select that whole column there. And you go down to delete. And we'll just delete that track out of there. And so we don't have to have drum as the first one. And so now we have a truly blank slate that none of the tracks have been designated as anything. Go back there, up there to 1-1 again. So we're track 1, pattern 1. And so we go to sound, and we could decide what this track's going to be. And I like the idea Roland had of making that a drum track. And you get to choose the preset kit, or there's a SD card in here. It comes with an SD card, so don't buy one. And you can load on through USB. You don't even have to take the SD card out. You can load on your favorite sounds and everything. But here, we're going to just hit enter, and over here, we can select the 909 kit if that's what we want. So yeah, so now there's a straight 909 kit on track 1. And so of course the conventional rules apply of selecting a drum, got the kick, and then you place the trigs, like for a 4 on the floor beat. Place the trigs on there, then you go to the next one, be your snare, and put those in there. And you can make really boring beats like that, or spice it up a little by making your own kits. So that's what I did for the song you heard at the beginning of this video. I went through and made my own kit, so I'll just kind of quickly show you how to do that and take you through making your own kit. So you'll hit Shift Sound, and you get a representation on the screen here of all these pads. And so Like if you wanted to change the kick, hit enter, and instrument select, preset, and over here you got all these different kicks. And so you got categories over here. So, you know, you can just select kick or electric kick or whatever, but it kind of narrows it down a lot for you. It's good the way they have it organized in there. And when you find one you like, you click on these clickable dials here and you can change it, totally make your own kit. So there's a couple ways to do it. The way we put that, you know, 4 on the floor beat in there. Also by hitting record. And if you're worried you'll be off the beat, you can use record with quantize, hit play, and it would be a nice feature if you could hit shift and measure and change the step length to 64 and watch over here what's happening. These measures are filling out there. So now I got 4 measures in there. There's measure 2 has nothing in it, measure 3 nothing in it, 4 nothing in it. Now it'd be a great feature if you could copy that over somehow, wouldn't it? If you could copy the first measure over to the other ones. But unfortunately you can't do that. You gotta re-enter all that stuff. But I like to work with 4 measures at a time. Okay, so I just went through all the procedures of recording a pattern, and I've got moving on to track 2. You hit that little select button there and it gives you the choice: tone, drum with compression, or looper. And I'd like to use tone on that one. Well, it comes preset with a little VA synth in there. So if you hit shift sound, we can use the envelope there, the release on the amp envelope. Now if you hold down shift and turn these, you can turn them really quickly. So turn that up to like 800 or so. And that's what you heard in my song, only it sounded a lot more analog, didn't it? Well, if you go to over here to the structure of the thing, sound, go over to the sound tab, you'll see analog feel. And check that out. You turn that analog feel up and it gives it this feeling like it's on, you know, some warped vinyl. A little too much. And the great thing is you could use that with samples too. You could put your own sample in there and then give it that analog feel, that vinyl sounding thing. Now on to track 3, and for that one, by selecting tone, I could choose a wave file. I previously loaded some sounds via just connecting a USB cable to the back of here, and you hit Shift Utility and go over here to storage mode. You put the thing in storage mode first before you hook any cables up. If you're familiar with my videos, you know that this is called the Lone Kit. So I've got all those sounds that I can preview. And so let me import that. You hit import. And that puts it on track 3 on the pads. So if we're in track 3. And we can give that the analog feel as well. Shift sound. We're in that same screen where we went over here to the sound tab before and used this analog feel. on that. Track 4, I used a preset tone because I wanted a steel drum. And so I went down here to mallet. And now if you just want to quickly adjust your tempo, you can hit tempo till it turns green like that, and you can just quickly adjust it. If you don't want to be adjusting your tempo by accident, just turn that back off. Okay, for the air choir sound, that was just where I hit sound. I went to wave file, enter, and again, it was one of my samples from the loan kit that I had already saved on the SD card. It's that one right there, preview. It was just an old Emu choir sample that I've had for years. And then for the final one is where I used the looper. So yeah, I've got a loop there that's matching, it's time stretched to match my project. Once it is designated a looper track, you can see that right now I have selected pattern 1, track 7, and it's empty. And so I hit sound, wave file, and I go down and select the one that was my looper. It was called Real Funk Amen. There are various settings for that. Shift sound. You can edit that in a number of ways. And there it is, Real Funk Amen. You can see that. And you can make it different measures. And you can hear the granulizing of it. It has the characteristics of kind of an old sampler. Sounds pretty good. Sounds really rough sounding. And different type of pitch stretch. And you could also put it in reverse. Now you noticed when I played through my song at the beginning of this video that I was manipulating various sends up here. Like this is automatically a reverb send, but you can change what the function of these knobs are. Okay, there's a button labeled knob assign, and so it says knob assign track 3, and so you can choose what each button will be. So for the filter one labeled filter, you could make it any of these various things. The one mod, you can make it anything you want. FX, make it anything you want. So you have a reverb, a delay, and a multi. And the way the effects work is that you can choose one reverb unit for the whole thing, and you send using one of these dials here, or you can preset that and use these dials for something else. Shift delay or shift reverb, and so you could choose different types of delay types that you have in there and different reverb types. So that explains generally how I made that. And now as far as my thoughts on the device, not having any way to chain patterns or make a song, I mean, for a lot of people that's going to be a deal breaker, an instant deal breaker. It has bits and pieces that you'll recognize from Roland from the past. It has kind of the, a very cut down VA synth that we've known for 20 years from the Phantom. I mean, I even recognized a lot of the sounds in there from my old Phantom. I noticed that the off-axis views of the display are really poor, and I think it's due to the fact that the plexiglass is mounted above the display, that if you're sitting down and looking on your desktop at it, you're just going to see a blue rectangle. Secondary functions are written below the keys in kind of a black color, so unless you're catching the gloss off of that lettering, you're not going to see those. I've learned to just take a device for what it is. They're never going to change anything on it. Take it and make the best of it. Figure out how to make something cool with it and be satisfied with it just like it is. All right, see you next time.